Elisa Lam arrived in Los Angeles in the final days of January 2013. She was 21 years old, traveling alone, carrying a backpack and a camera, moving slowly along the west coast of the United States. For Elisa, travel was never about speed or efficiency. It was about distance. Distance from routine, from expectations, and from the quiet pressure of figuring out who she was supposed to become. She documented almost everything. Thoughts, moods, observations, moments of clarity and moments of doubt. Elisa was introspective and articulate, and she wrote openly about her mental health. She had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder and depression, conditions she never attempted to hide. Writing was her way of maintaining control. It helped her organize emotions that often felt overwhelming. Los Angeles was never meant to be permanent. It was simply another stop, a place to experience, record, and eventually leave behind. On January 26th, Elisa checked into the Cecil Hotel in downtown Los Angeles. The building was large, aging, and visibly worn by decades of neglect. Once a glamorous destination in the early 20th century, the Cecil had long since lost its prestige. Over time, it had become something else entirely. A place of anonymity. A place where people passed through quietly and rarely stayed long. The hotel stood near Skid Row, an area known for homelessness, addiction, and crime. Guests ranged from tourists looking for cheap accommodation to long-term residents with nowhere else to go. The environment inside reflected that instability. Hallways were busy. Noise carried easily. People came and went at all hours. At first, Elisa's stay appeared ordinary. She explored the city on foot. She visited bookstores and shops. She took photographs and continued writing. Most importantly, she stayed in close contact with her parents in Canada. They spoke every day. According to her family, her voice sounded calm and engaged. She talked about her plans and described what she had seen. There were no obvious warning signs. Elisa was initially assigned to a shared room on one of the hotel's upper floors. Within a short time, other guests complained to hotel staff. They described her behavior as unusual. The exact details were never fully released, but staff later confirmed that Elisa had been leaving notes, rearranging belongings, and acting in ways that made others uncomfortable. Hotel management made a decision. Elisa was moved to a private room. From that moment forward, she was alone. On January 31st, Elisa was scheduled to check out of the Cecil Hotel. She never did. Her parents attempted to reach her by phone. There was no answer. Messages went unread. Hours passed. Then an entire day. Concern escalated quickly into alarm. By the end of that day, the Los Angeles Police Department was contacted. Elisa Lam was officially reported missing. Police officers arrived at the Cecil Hotel and began searching the building. They checked common areas, stairwells, and hallways. They questioned hotel employees. Search dogs were brought in. At one point, the dogs traced Elisa's scent to a window and a nearby fire escape. Beyond that point, the trail vanished. There was no evidence suggesting that Elisa had left the building. Days passed with no confirmed sightings. No credible leads emerged. The investigation stalled. Then, on February 13th, nearly 3 weeks after Elisa was last seen, police released surveillance footage from one of the hotel's elevators. The footage was intended to generate tips. Instead, it became one of the most analyzed pieces of video in modern internet history. The video shows Elisa Lam entering the elevator. She presses several buttons. The elevator doors fail to close. She steps out into the hallway, then back inside. She leans forward cautiously, peering around the corner as if checking whether someone or something is nearby. She moves into the corner of the elevator and presses her body against the wall. Her movements appear slow and deliberate. Her hands gesture in unusual patterns. Her fingers extend and retract. At moments, she appears to be speaking, though there is no audio. No one else is visible. The elevator doors remain open far longer than expected. Eventually, Elisa steps out of view. The doors close. The footage ends. The video spread rapidly across the internet. Millions of people watched it repeatedly. Some slowed it down frame by frame. Others zoomed in on reflections and shadows. Online forums filled with speculation. Many believed Elisa was afraid. Some believed she was hiding from someone. Paranormal explanations appeared almost immediately. What many viewers did not know was that the footage had been altered before release. Timestamps were removed. Portions were slowed. Segments were cut. Though the changes were subtle, they significantly influenced how the video was perceived and interpreted. While public attention focused on the elevator footage, events inside the Cecil Hotel continued. 19 days after Elisa disappeared, hotel guests began complaining about water problems. Water pressure was low. Some reported dark-colored water. Others described an unpleasant taste. The complaints reached hotel management. A maintenance worker was sent to inspect the rooftop water tanks. He climbed the stairs leading to the roof. He approached the large cylindrical tanks that supplied water to the building. Inside one of them, he found Elisa Lam. Her body was floating in the water. She was naked. Her clothing was found inside the tank with her. The hatch at the top of the tank was open. The discovery shocked investigators and the public alike. Questions followed immediately. How had Elisa reached the roof? Why was she inside the tank? How did she open the heavy lid? Why had no one found her sooner? An autopsy was conducted. The coroner ruled Elisa's death an accidental drowning. Bipolar disorder was listed as a contributing factor. Toxicology reports showed no alcohol or illegal drugs in her system. There were no signs of sexual assault. No visible external injuries. Officially, the case was closed. Public doubt remained. Investigators suggested that Elisa accessed the roof via a fire escape. They theorized that she was experiencing a severe mental health episode that impaired her judgment. Experts explained that manic or psychotic states can involve paranoia, disorientation, and impulsive behavior. Some suggested that Elisa climbed into the tank seeking safety or privacy and became trapped. Others questioned these conclusions. How did she access the roof if it was supposed to be secured? Why did police fail to locate her during earlier searches? Why were alarms not triggered? Why did the elevator malfunction appear to coincide with her presence? Hotel management later acknowledged that some security features were not fully functional at the time. Former guests described broken locks, unsecured access points, and minimal oversight. The Cecil Hotel's long history came under renewed scrutiny. Over the decades, the building had been associated with numerous deaths and criminal incidents. Critics argued that the environment itself posed risks, particularly to vulnerable individuals. Elisa's parents filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the hotel, alleging negligence. They claimed the hotel failed to provide adequate security and failed to protect their daughter. The lawsuit was later dismissed. The court ruled that the hotel could not have reasonably prevented Elisa's actions. Legally, the case ended there. Public interest did not. The elevator footage continues to circulate online, often stripped of context. Elisa Lam became a symbol rather than a person. The mystery overshadowed the reality of her life, her struggles, and her humanity. Some believe the official explanation fully accounts for what happened. Others believe critical details remain unresolved. The truth may lie somewhere between certainty and doubt. Elisa Lam did not disappear in isolation. She vanished inside a building filled with people, cameras, and routines. Her case highlights the fragility of safety, the complexity of mental illness, and the consequences of environments that fail to protect those who are vulnerable. More than a decade later, her story continues to unsettle those who hear it. Not because it lacks an explanation, but because the explanation does not bring peace.